Welcome to this video blog that I'm filming today on Maundy Thursday, reflecting on this time of Holy Week. It's another wonderful, beautiful, sunny day, and it contrasts hugely with the very wet and miserable weather we had over the winter period. And thinking about that contrast made me think about a lot of other contrasts that there are around at the moment. There's the contrasts in the garden, for instance. Mostly what you can see behind me is springing into life, spring life coming forth. But there are still a few trees that are bare and things that are not quite yet growing properly. And then there's the contrast in the air. Hopefully now you can hear the birds singing. Yet normally the sky would be full of aeroplanes. They're empty. You'd hear the sound of many cars, just one or two. And then there's all the contrast between some of us who have been very physically active. I've been doing exercise with Joe Wicks every morning, and then others who are socially isolating and unable to get out very much and doing very little. Then there's those who are sadly very ill at the moment with coronavirus, struggling away, contrasting with many who are perfectly normal and healthy and able to live well. And there's the contrast with the many people whose work is frantically busy at the moment. We think of those who work, of course, in our hospitals, those who are working as delivery drivers, those who work in our shops, those who work in our care homes. And many are actively so busy at the moment. And that contrasts with others of you who have very little to do. Maybe you're on furlough. Maybe you've been made redundant. Maybe you just have very little that's going on when you'd normally be active with lots of groups and so on. There's another real contrast there. Well, Holy Week is full of contrasts too, isn't it, as well? Think about Palm Sunday, when the crowds were waving their palm branches and shouting Hosanna, proclaiming Jesus as the Messiah, the coming King. And then, just 5 days later, they were shouting, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" What a contrast. And then, of course, we have the contrast of despair at the cross on Good Friday, with the empty tomb, the resurrected Christ on Easter Sunday. And that contrast reflects our lives as Christians. There are many people now who are full of fear of catching the virus, fear of their loved ones maybe catching it or even dying, fear of people losing jobs, fear of loneliness and isolation, and for some, the fear of their own death. But as Christians, we are ones who do not live in fear. Rather, we live in hope, the hope that comes from the resurrection that we celebrate at Easter, that God is with us, that God is all-powerful, that God will ultimately defeat sin, evil, and even death itself. And it's that hope that spurs me on. It's that hope that casts out all fear for me this Easter time. So may I wish you a very blessed Easter, and may you know the love and peace of Christ at this time. Amen.